Welcome to Story Route Zero.
This is a podcast where friends gather to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and the strange worlds of video games. We often don't know where we're going, but that's half the fun. Come on the journey with us. Hit us up on Twitter at StoryRoute0. You can send us an email at StoryRoute0@gmail.com. That includes questions, concerns, comments, complaints, pet pics. Send us some recipes. Send us some stories about your day. We're going to listen.
Podcast, start your engines. We have liftoff. Let's have a journey.
Last week we started with a joke. This week we're going with a quote. So, I'm playing Persona 4 Dancing All Night. It kind of rules. Might fuck around and play Melody of Memory myself at this rate. That is from our own Matthew Keto. Is not with us tonight.
I just love Michaela
tweeted that at like midnight,
which was like Kevin Hart's "Say what?" from his stand-up, and I was like, "Yeah, I mean, hey, if he's enjoying it, that's awesome." You know?
This is Story Route Zero, episode 52. I'm one of your hosts, Jason. Joining me, Michaela and Moose.
Oi,
How's
oi.
it going?
It's going, man. It's been a heck of a week. It's been a busy week.
It's a busy week.
was
Michaela, how was your week?
long, kind of rough in spots, but it's over. I'm going to count tomorrow as starting a new week because today was a holiday. The one good thing was for the first time in the 5 years I've worked there, we had today off. They changed the company policy and told us on Thursday that we got today off.
Oh wow! See, they changed ours last year.
They changed it this year for us because last year they formed a diversity and inclusion committee, and they got it so that we now have MLK's day off because we did not.
I really feel like companies, if they really want to adapt to that diversification, get rid of set holidays and just say, if you want to take it, you can take it, but here is your set amount of vacation days so that you can take whatever holiday you want and nobody can say no, especially if it's like related to your religion, if you want to do it, or, you know, something special. Because I think it's ridiculous where it's like, oh, well, we get, I mean, 4th of July, yeah, but like, you know, Memorial Day, Labor Day, 4th of July, we get Christmas,
the big
Thanksgiving.
The big
yeah.
six.
And usually like that's it. It used to be a lot more. And now it's like next to nothing. It's like, just give us a, you know, 6 holidays, you know, we'll take them whenever we want.
Yeah, ours would be kind of weird because we don't have a set number of days. Like we don't have like you get 2 weeks paid vacation or whatever. We have an open leave policy. It's weird.
My wife has that too. Yeah, she can take as much time as she wants.
I can take as much as I want, but it since I don't lose days at the end of the year, I end up like not taking vacation sometimes because of that. So yeah, weird. Yeah. But I had today off, but otherwise this week was kind of rough. Literally, it's one of those like call your mom and cry kind of weeks. But
sorry to hear that. That sucks.
Yeah, but it's over now. Tomorrow starts a new week. I finished reading To Sleep in a Sea of Stars, which is the new Paolini book from the guy who wrote like the Aragon and Inheritance saga. I didn't love it. I read it. I enjoyed it mostly, but it pales in comparison to his previous works. Wasn't as good, and the romance was super cringe, and I didn't want to read it.
Wasn't he a kid when he wrote Aragon?
He was young. He wasn't a kid. I want to say he
was. Well, I don't
like,
want to say kid. Well, I mean teenager. I would say.
That's I want to say like maybe college age.
Okay.
When he wrote Aragon, which was like 16 years ago now, maybe a little bit more than that, 16, 17 years ago now.
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
Yeah, I was in elementary school. I remember reading Aragon, and I had a broken finger, so I had like a cast on part of my hand holding the book. I specifically remember doing that. My sister broke my finger. She's very proud of that.
She kick you?
She made me fall and I landed like on my.
Ah.
It's unpleasant.
Mm.
Now it's a little crooked. Whatever.
I like how she's proud of it. Like, I broke my
oh my god, my
sister's
sister used
hand.
to torture me when I was a kid. During the reception for my first communion, when we were taking like pictures with my grandfather on the stairs, she hung my underwear from the chandelier while the whole family was in the house. She used to love to torture me.
Is she older or younger?
She's 2.5 years younger,
That's a good one.
but also like a foot taller.
Ah, she'll get her comeuppance.
Yeah, she's the one in Charlotte.
Okay.
But yeah, I played more different games than usual. Like I played 3 games. Usually, when I wasn't a Twitch streamer and when I wasn't on this podcast, I focused on 1 game at a time. So playing 3 games in a week for me is a lot.
Well, sorry.
Is it an overload for you, or were you able to like manage it?
I was able to manage
manageable?
it for the most part, partially because like we had today off and all that. I worked out super hard this weekend, and I'm actually going to be taking a week off from working out because I'm starting to burn out a little bit.
Breaks are good. It's a good
Taking
idea.
break this week, a mental health break from the working out. But yeah, that was the week.
Nice.
Moose?
Week was great, man. Played a lot of video games. I had Friday off because we had to take the fur babies to the vet because somebody got fleas, and then
Oh no.
it multiplied, and that was nice.
Gave the dogs fleas. I
I
told
did.
you.
I did. I was out there in the woods, and I came back and just brought them with me. But so Friday, I was just like, I'm just taking the day. So I just took the day off and sat around and played some video games. And then I also had off today and played video games. But something really awesome happened on Sunday. Bloodborne, the board game, my Kickstarter order came in. A lot of boxes. Go check out my Twitter if you want to see the pictures, or my Instagram. It's the same name here, SVHENN. But man, there were so many. But it's really awesome. Like, the board game is really well done. They did an excellent job. Not that I wasn't expecting good quality. I'm just saying, like, I was like blown away at how, like, I think they went way above what they needed to do with it. You know what I mean? Like, they just went above and beyond to make it a really great game. And so I'm looking forward to playing it eventually. My oldest brother's wife and him want to play it because my wife brought it up in our family group chat, and my sister-in-law was like, I'll play it. And I was like, all right, we can have some fun with this. But got some walks in, took the dogs for a walk yesterday, and then I took them for a walk today because I had off. So just trying to get them exercise and get us exercise. The wife and I are trying to do the whole, at least go once a weekend when we don't have any plans, one day on a weekend, try and go and take them for a walk. And you could tell they were tired, and you could tell I was tired because I'm back to my schedule, but of going and working out regularly. But other than that, just games for the week. Work was late. How about you, Jason?
Busy week. Aria turned 6.
Happy birthday, Aria.
We had my in-laws over Saturday, but couldn't do much, obviously.
How'd that go? Everything go
It was
well?
good. Yeah, it was good. They brought the food, so that saved us a bit. She had fun. Played some games, worked, unpacked a little bit more.
You got to be close to be finishing with that, aren't you?
Yeah, for the most part. It's a lot of decorative stuff that has to get hung now.
Yeah.
Always the last thing.
Yeah. Rooms are mostly sorted.
Nice.
I just got to finish sorting I have a lot of cables. I realized when I packed them all up, there's a lot of cables, random cables. Where did this go? Where did this go? Why do we have all these extension cords? Yeah, but pretty good. but we can talk about video games. But first, happy anniversary to Matt and Reba. It is 2 years married, 4 years together today.
Yay! Happy anniversary to them.
Who wants to go first? Not everyone at once.
I'll go first. So I played a little bit more of Immortals, but this week it was actually the one I played the least of, as opposed to being the opposite of that the previous week. I'm still doing some cleanup in Aphrodite's region, but I started into Ares region, which I've been excited to do since I found out that Ares got turned into a chicken. So that's kind of funny. And I beat some more like legendary monsters. Like I kicked the shit out of the Nemean lion, and that was fun. I played a little bit more of my backlog game, cleared a couple more levels in that. But my main focus this week has been a new old game that is technically a new game that I have also played multiple times before, which is Final Fantasy 12. Matt tagged me on Twitter. This guy was looking, he does a podcast, RPG University. He was looking for somebody to talk about Ys, and Matt tagged me, and he was looking to maybe do an Ys episode because 9's coming out in 2 weeks. But I've dabbled in Ys, and the only one I've actually beaten all the way through is 8, and that was almost 2 years ago, so I wasn't feeling confident to talking about that on a podcast. So he asked me for a list of other games that I would feel comfortable talking about for a different episode.
Hold my beer.
I gave him a whole list of RPGs, not even all JRPGs. Like I put Horizon in there. I might have put Greedfall in there, but I also put like FF10, Persona 5, Royal, Octopath Traveler, Fire Emblem, all the stuff. And of the whole list he picked, Final Fantasy 12. Like, who the hell wants to talk about Final Fantasy 12 besides me?
This guy.
This guy. Problem is, yes, I've played Final Fantasy 12 multiple times. It is probably my third favorite Final Fantasy of all time in terms of the main numbered single player installments. But I have only played the PS2 version that came out in 2006. The current version that's on PS4 Switch is called Final Fantasy 12 The Zodiac Age, and that released a few years ago. It is a remaster re-release of the international version that came out in after the 2006 version, but before this like remaster, where the reason it's called The Zodiac Age is because they changed the progression system in the game. So it used to be when you got your characters, do you guys know FF10?
Mm-hmm. A little bit, yeah.
You know the sphere grid where everybody's like on this big, So it was similar to that, except instead of a bunch of spheres in a line, it was like a big checkerboard, and you could just unlock tiles by moving next to and so that's how you upgraded your health, your strength, what equipment you could wear, whether it was heavy armor, light armor, magic armor, staves, swords, spears, whatever. Different spells. That's how you unlocked your different like overdrives. They're called quickenings in 12. It's how you were able to use summons, which are called espers in 12. So instead of everybody just starting on one big board, that's all, you can go wherever. The Zodiac job system, you pick one job per character as they join your party, and it's their own isolated specific board that's tailored to knight, black mage, white mage, time mage, different types of whatever, foe breaker. It's got some weird names in there. And then once you progress a certain amount, you can teach characters a second job. So instead of just free reign across a whole board, you can pick 2 jobs per character, and they progress on their own board.
And that secondary job is like a full-blown secondary job. It's not kind of like well, this is your main, and then here you're a jack of all trades.
You can switch boards at any time.
Like full-blown. Okay, nice.
But you got to progress. I technically haven't gotten to the part where you can get the second job. I think I'm in a place called the Namyensa Sansi, And then I'm going to Wraithwall's Tomb. I think after you beat Wraithwall's Tomb is when you can start doing your secondary jobs.
Nice.
Because I just got the full party essentially at this point. I'm about 10 to 12 hours into the game. Yeah, close to 12 hours into the game. So I put in a decent chunk over the weekend. And I've played it before, so.
Is that on PS4 or Switch?
I've been playing on PS4.
Yeah. I've been thinking about picking it up because I bought the game when it came out and played like maybe 2-3 hours and got distracted by something else and then never went back to it. And I never had a problem with it. I know a lot of people they
didn't like the combat.
Yeah, they don't like the combat because it was kind of like an MMO where you're just auto attacking, I guess. And and so like people didn't like that, and I'm just like, I don't care. Like I'm cool with it, and so I want to go back to it, and so I'm thinking like, either later this year or next year, I'm going to try and pick it up and play it. I like to do a tour de force on the Final Fantasy games, especially play the one that's Jason's background. So I've never played it before.
Yeah, it was so weird because like when I came into the call, I looked at his background. I'm like, that is so weird because I started playing a Final Fantasy this week.
And there's Espers in 6.
Yes, there is Esper. So 12, there's like 2 main directors for 12. One of them is the guy who did 6 and 9. And the other one is the guy who did Tactics and Vagrant Story. And you can see Vagrant Story in the art design.
Vagrant Story was so good.
Yeah, if go look at FF12's characters, you're going to see Vagrant Story.
Yeah, they do.
Color palettes and the faces.
Yeah, they do look very much like it.
What?
Sorry, what was that, Jason?
Espers were in Tactics as well.
Well, so Tactics takes place in Ivalice. 12 takes place in Ivalice. 14 takes place in Ivalice. So those are all in the same universe canonically.
It would be nice to see Final Fantasy Tactics get a remake.
Yes, I tweeted about that recently.
just go over and knock on the door of the guys that did Octopath Traveler and be like, "Hey, can we borrow your engine?
You're done with Bravely Default 2? What else are you doing?"
Right.
It doesn't hold a candle, but it's always on sale and it's actually fun. Mercenary Saga on
I've
Switch
seen that, yeah.
Is a Tactics. It's the same. The terrain's different levels.
Yeah.
Take a look at that. It's always on sale. Like
there's multiples of that, isn't there?
There might be, but the most recent one on Switch is always like $2 to $3 only.
Because I always look at that and I'm like, man, I
wish they would just put Tactics on there.
They'd be crazy. They should just port it over and put it on there and let people play it on there. There's also another one, Zodiac Age.
No, that's FF12. Yeah.
No. Sorry. No. There's another one. There's a developer that made a game like Final Fantasy Tactics. Give me a second. Let me find it. And I could have swore it was like a Z name or something like that. Sorry. I just went with Zodiac Age because that was 12. Yeah. But anyway, let's continue.
So yeah, everything about FF12 on paper, it's a game I wouldn't like. It's the same thing with like Xenoblade Chronicles 2. It's like if you describe the game to me, the gameplay in the abstract, I'd be like, no, I don't want to fucking play that. But I actually like the Gambit system. I like that MMO combat in a single player game. I like setting up my strategies for all my characters. So basically what you can do is you can determine the conditions and how your party will react. So like if there's a party member KO'd, you can have a command that automatically triggers a Phoenix down or a spell to raise them up. Or if your health drops below 50%, 40%, 30%, you can have curatives in your gambits. You have like if there's a foe who's weak to fire, you can automatically set it to use fire. But the thing is, you can also switch between characters and manually control them at any time that you want. There's always stuff that you can't prepare for. So there's plenty to do. Instead of like an action combat where you need to get good at fighting things, this is like a management system where you need to get good at managing your party in real time. So it's kind of like Xenoblade 2 is a way more in-depth system, and it has the benefit of being years and years and years newer. But for a 2006 game, this thing holds up really freaking well. Like stupid, like good for the most part. It like there's some baby fast travel in there. There's on the fly character switching. Some of it does feel a little bit like older, outdated, but in terms of like old Final Fantasy games, and I guess you can kind of almost call it that now that it's going to be 15 years old, and that makes me want to jump off a roof.
Jesus.
It's aged pretty well. The big complaint about 12 is that the main character, Vaughn, is inconsequential to the story. He's not a particularly strong protagonist, unless you kind of just think of him as like a self-insert character.
Like Master Chief.
Sky Pirates are the coolest ones, obviously. Fran and Balthier are way cooler than everyone else. So I just play as them for the most part. But yeah, so I made it through the prologue. I made it through the first parts of Ravenaster. I started doing some monster hunts. I made it through the Nalbina dungeons. I made it through Bujerba. And now I am in the Sand Sea on my way to Wraithwall's tomb. I just basically, I don't really need a reminder of the story, but I needed to experience the Zodiac job system for myself before going on the podcast to talk about it, because I felt unprepared having only played the original version of the game and not the modern version.
Right.
So yeah, been enjoying that.
Nice. Anyways, that game I was thinking it was Children of the Zodiacs.
Never heard of it.
Is there a card component to it?
I'm not 100% sure on it. So there was a team out there. This game was kickstarted because they loved Final Fantasy Tactics, so they wanted to make a game similar to it. And Square Enix actually produced this. Like they were the publishers. They were the publishers of it. And so it's pretty cool. I have it. It's on PS4. I think it's on Switch. So like if you're looking for something like Final Fantasy Tactics, you could try that out. I've tried it. I haven't played too much of it. I need to see backlog's too big. But anyways, that was the game I was thinking of. I was like, I knew there was a Z in the name.
Putting it on my list.
Yeah. And it's usually on sale. Like I want to say it's like $20 to start with. And then you could usually get it on sale for like cheaper. I think I got it for like half that. It's on sale
on the eShop, and it's on sale for $11.
Not bad. Yeah. See, I was gonna say it's like 20. So. But...
Oh, they have combat cards. I knew there was some card component.
Oh, okay. Okay. Cool. But yeah, that was a pretty successful Kickstarter. Yeah. I can go next.
Okay.
If you're finished. Okay.
I am.
So I've been all over the place again. I haven't gone back to Age of Calamity to touch that. But
well, you technically beat it after the last episode.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's right. So I beat it after the last episode.
By like an hour.
Yeah. That's right. We finished this and I went and played it and like beat it. But ending was good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I highly recommend the game. There were some aspects of the ending where I'm like, okay, we're just gonna, just let that be. But I don't know. It's a Dynasty style Warriors game, so it's kind of like story's not too crazy like detailed, important, I guess. But I thought the combat was really good. I want to go back to it. I'd like to max out all the characters, get all the characters to play as, to have fun with them. I did put in our chat that like my 8-bit do turbo button on my controller probably helped me beat that game because my thumbs were getting real tired from mashing X. And so I'm just like, this is insane. And so but yeah, it's well worth the purchase. The only things I haven't tried on it are like I think it's couch co-op. You do 2-player co-op. They don't have online. I have not tried that because my wife's not going to play the game. So I don't know how well that does, but I've heard that it's not the best. Like it stutters a lot.
It seems like that would be a strain on the system because it seems like Age of Calamity is already pushing its buttons to extreme.
It is. Like it is. So beat that, finished that, moved on to other games. What I forgot to mention last week, I have been playing my backlog game, Blasphemous, and I'm at like a crossroads with the game because not that I don't like it. I like it. I love the game. I love the game a lot. My problem is I want to platinum the game, and I don't see any really good roadmaps out there to like. So what I want to do, I think it's going to go on the back burner, not too far. So what I want to do is take some time and like read through all the guides, all the trophy lists, because there's like a trophy you have to get where like you have to find items and bring them back to this one guy before you progressively beat bosses. So it's kind of like a story quest from like Dark Souls or Bloodborne, where you have to like do certain events before you beat a certain amount of bosses. Otherwise, that person disappears. And I don't see like a lot of the roadmaps like detailing that out. So I'm probably gonna have to come up with my own. Be like, play so far and do that. Make sure you do this before you beat this boss, or and kind of get a roadmap going. And because I was sitting there and I was thinking, man, I could just play through it and enjoy it. And then I'm like, well, I kind of like want to just beat it and platinum it. The only problem is I think the hardest trophy that's going to beat is there's a trophy where you have to beat the bosses without healing, so you can't heal. So my thing with that is I'm not 100% sure on it, but I don't know if you can burn your heals before you go into the boss fight, because I'd have like, you know what I mean? Like I could train myself not to hit that button, but who's to say I'm not going to accidentally hit that button, And so it's like, can I just burn through all the like Estus? Can you burn through all the Estus and go into the fight, and then you have no heals? And it's like, it's going to be putting my head through a wall trying to learn the fights, because it's a brutal game, which I like. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So kind of put that on the back burner. I did start. I dived into Breakpoint. I said I wasn't gonna do it until a certain point, but we were playing with some buddies, with Justin and Jason, and so now I've been playing a lot of that and love it even more than Wildlands. It's a lot of fun. So when the game first came out, they didn't have AI companions like Wildlands, and so it was added eventually. And when we all got into the game, now you can use the AI companions like Wildlands. And I'm just like, I'm just gonna play it like Wildlands with the AI companions, which is cool. And but like the really cool thing about them is they will blow your cover. Like the enemies can see them. Unlike in Wildlands, you could be like sneaking and you could watch your AI companion just walk right in front of the enemy, and the enemy doesn't even do anything. Like the game warns you, like when you go to do a command, like to tell them to open fire or go to a certain point, it'll say, actions that your AI companions do can tell the enemy where you are and can give away your position. I was like, well, that's cool. I like that they added them in, but also did make it OP. So we've been playing that. That's been a lot of fun. I have been playing a lot of my Switch. So hold on a second. I gotta bring this up because there's a lot of stuff on here that I've been playing. I did try Super Meat Boy Forever. That's a lot of fun. It's obviously different than Super Meat Boy because it's a runner, a forever runner, or whatever they call them. Those type of games where you just like the screen just keeps going to the right. Endless runner. Thank you for correcting me. So it's weird that it does that, and so like it's just trying to retrain your brain to get used to it. But I'm enjoying it so far. Morbid. I've been playing Morbid, 7 Acolytes. I'm on my third. Well, technically the second boss I've found. The first one's not really a boss, I don't think. It's just kind of like a tutorial boss. So I'm enjoying the heck out of that. I highly recommend checking that game out.
I bought it because of Jason's review, and you keep talking about it. So it was on sale on the Switch and on PS4, and I picked it up in the holiday sale for PS4. I picked up Morbid and Bloodstained Ritual of the Night.
Oh, nice. Yeah, see, that's on my backlog list, and I do want to play that and platinum that because I want to also play Curse of the Moon because I have Curse of the Moon, and then I want to pick up Curse of the Moon 2 and play that because those are supposedly really great nods to the old school Castlevania style games. But so been playing a lot of Morbid, and then I don't know what's going on. I do know what's going on. I bought 2 games because they were on sale. I bought Jack Quest, and I bought was it Super Skelly or something like that? Hold on a second. My bad. I can't remember the name. Skellmania. So it's Super Skellmania, which is like a Metroid type game. And I've been playing Jack's Quest, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Basically, like you're out in the forest with your chica, and she gets kidnapped, and then like you go chasing after her and find this being trapped in a sword, and so you use the sword to like kill stuff. My only problem with it is it crashes. I found another game that crashes. So I sent him a picture on Twitter. I got past this. I got past the first two bosses, and it started crashing after that, consecutive at the same spot. And I was using the turbo button on my 8-bit dude, and I was like, well, maybe that's it, because it was the error was reading like it was like an input issue. So I turned off the turbo button, still got the same issue. I pulled it out of the dock and was just playing the Switch normally, still got the issue. And then I even tried a new playthrough, and now I can't. Now when I'm in the boss fight for the second boss, I get the error message now. Like so far into the fight, like when I get the health down to like at under half, like to a third or less, it just errors out on me, and I'm like, this is not cool. Like I'm actually really enjoying this game. Not that I didn't enjoy Vigil, which was also causing errors, but I was like, this is like a tough but fun little Metroidvania kind of mixed with like Souls combat. But anyway, so hopefully I get a reply from them and they're aware of the issue and they can like fix it. If not, then whatever, it was $2. But Super Skellmania is pretty cool. Like you run around as a skeleton on a planet and you're figuring out what's going on, and you basically like throw your head to attack. So like you use your head as like a whip, and it's pretty fun. I've only played like 10-20 minutes of that, but I highly recommend it. They're both on sale, I think, for like $2 on the Switch, which is where I nabbed them. But other than that, I haven't been playing very much else. But yeah, like I said, all over the place. So now it's like trying to narrow it down. I did want to start Immortals. I don't know if anybody's listening and has Immortals and hasn't seen it yet. If you're a Twitch Prime subscriber, there's like armor out there that you can get if you link your Twitch and your Ubisoft accounts. I've done it. It's on all platforms. So I'm on Switch. I'm thinking I know while I was playing Breakpoint Saturday or Sunday, I know Jeff was playing that and he's having a blast, and I'm like, I need to get back to that. And so I think I'm just going to start over. I'm so close to the beginning of the game, and it's been so long since I played it. I'm like, I'm just going to start over and just have fun with it. So yeah. But
I've been trying to convince my roommate to pick it up now that she's near the end of Age of Calamity. I mean, I'm still working on her to get to play Hades, but since Immortals is, I think, still on sale for $40, I'm like, okay. Yeah. You love Greek mythology. You love Breath of the Wild. Just friggin' get the game.
And you love like a wicked sense of humor. So
yes, actually,
like
Jess.
It's really funny.
Did you actually know that Jess is the you guys are my problem on Monday nights, but the rest of the week, Jess is the pun master general.
Tip of the hat. Oh, that's funny. Well, that's it. Jason, what you been playing?
I didn't play Persona. I did platinum Wildlands.
Woo woo. That's why I was playing Breakpoint. But anyway,
Breakpoint. I did the Jason thing where go to the objective or go 12 miles the other direction of the map. They're two different games. They really are. It's not like, oh, it's a sequel. We'll bring over most of the systems. Like, they feel completely like there's familiarity, but they feel completely different than how everything works out. Like, Bolivia was massive, and I think Aurora is, but it's not. Bolivia felt massive in the fact that, like, I gotta get a helicopter now to get to the next point. It was just so, it might have been too big in a sense.
Yeah, like, I agree with that.
But I feel Breakpoint, it's maybe because it's the setting. It's not like country and mountainside. Like, it's denser jungles and whatnot. So it feels closer, but there's still a lot of traversal you could do. So having fun with that. I'm playing without AI right now. I wanted to try it as they intended at first. It's like I said, it's different. There's so many different things. Like it's more of an RPG. Like there's like you pick a class. There's skills like you can invest in. There's different play styles. Like I went medic. Moose's
Tell them why you went medic and why it's a good idea you went medic.
because I usually go in like Rambo and you can self revive.
Yes, that's exactly why he should have went medic, and he did.
But you can change it out. It's not like you're locked in permanently. You could just pick at any point. But I felt like playing without teammates, and then also playing as a medic. If I play with anyone like non-AI, like real people, you have a drone that can revive people, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So played a bit of that. A little bit more Sackboy, chipping away. I basically Aria plays the level, and then I go back and clean it up.
Oh, nice.
She misses 99% of the shit. I played a really cool demo. A game comes out in February. Rogue Heroes: Ruins of Tassos. Moose, you'll love this. It's
To the
think
Googles.
original Zelda, part Moonlighter,
Okay.
roguelike. Who's looking it up now?
I am.
So you start as just one class, and you can actually purchase other classes, but you just do tasks for the villagers, and as you go when you die, you go back, but then you can like upgrade your town, which upgrades your abilities, obviously.
Yeah.
And it's up to 4 people, and I think you could play online, which is cool.
Yeah, this is I have a problem with following indie people who keep an eye on indies on YouTube, and this was on one of the recent videos that I watched, and I'm like, son of a bitch. So
Yeah, this one I'm interested in the co-op. If the co-op works well,
well, this is also one thing. Like, if we gonna want to try co-op, I'd pick it up on PS4. You know what I mean? Instead of trying to get it on Switch.
right, because obviously it's easier. It's still easier. We're going on 4 years of the Switch. It's still easier to party on a different system.
Yeah.
So you might as well buy the game on that other system.
Right. I know it's ridiculous. You think they would just walk it back and be like, all right, guys, here's party chat on the Nintendo Switch? No. We're still dumb. I mean, the Vita could still do it better. But anyways, yeah, that's on. I'm looking at the Steam page for those that are listening. The demo is on Steam, so you can just go rent your Steam.
It's on Switch too. Try it on Switch.
Oh, the demo's on Switch. Hello, Switch. Okay.
I think it's a new weekly segment for us. Shit on Nintendo Online.
You know, I wasn't gonna say it,
but we kind of do.
I know.
No, but the game looks fun on its own, but I'm curious about the co-op. I think it'd be pretty cool playing that style, chopping down bushes together.
Right. Like, I feel like it'd be one of those things where it's like, if it's fun enough and we have a blast playing it together and solo when we're not playing, like, it might be something where I'd pick it up at a cheaper price on Switch just to have it on the go to play it there too. So
and it's up to 4 people, which is really cool.
Yeah, which is always nice. I did want to.
We can get Michaela to play it, and then she could jump into a Zelda game because she's never played one.
I never should have told you guys that.
I'm gonna change her name in chat to never played Zelda, Michaela.
Yeah, son of a bee.
Yeah,
because it's pretty cool.
But
I did want to ask you something quick about Breakpoint. Are you doing your class challenges?
I haven't even gotten far enough to really unlock to get into anything.
Okay, so when you go back to it, like, you'll have like class challenge. Like, so I'm the assault class. I'm playing the assault class, which my power increases my movement speed while aiming down sights and damage, and then kills regen that. But you have tiers to your assault class or to your class itself. Like, you'll have it for the medic. But like, as you do challenges for each level, you move up and you'll get blueprints, you'll get added bonuses.
Oh, okay.
So like the last challenge I did was kill 50 people with a shotgun or an assault rifle, because that's the main weapons in my class. Then it was like kill 2 people within 10 seconds with an assault rifle or a shotgun. And then the last challenge, which I haven't done yet, is close quarter combat kill, like take somebody down that way. And I'm like, I don't even know what the melee button is. Like I can't, I don't know, because like you don't, like most games where you hit the melee button, you're just like, you do like nothing happens. I think it's R3, but like nothing happens when you hit R3. So anyways, so just when you do that, because you could track it like in Division 2, where you could be like, oh, this is what I'm doing, and then you could tack it up on the screen and keep an eye on it and know exactly what you have to do. But anyway.
I forgot to mention with Breakpoint, I had to go into the menu and I made the font for basically every system in the game small, because there's a lot of shit on screen.
Yeah, there is.
Like to the point where it's like blocking, even on normal. Like it's like, this is absurd. Like I know you can hide things at the press of a button, but like sometimes I want the objectives to stay up, but not if they're going to take up a quarter of the whole screen. But yeah, I'll look for that. I have leveled up my class, so I'll look into the challenges.
For anyone who's played Wildlands, like since they added the AI in, the main difference is you now have you can spec out to get a drone that does your sync shots.
Yeah.
So you just have to aim at a target, hit L1, you can light up like however many people you have for those drones, and then execute all at once. So it's kind of like takes the place of your sync shot if you're not using the AI companions. But like the AI companions are still, they're making shots from like clear across the map, and I'm like, whatever, you're getting the job done. It's like, how realistic does this have to be?
But the most time spent was playing Skull, the Hero Slayer, and you had mentioned Skelomania, and you throw your head. So in Skull, the Hero Slayer, you're actually the bad guy. The heroes have won, and you are a resurrected skeleton working for demons, and well, you guys want to take back everything over. So the thing is, as you go, you find new skulls, basically their outfits. So like you find one, you're a thief, and like you do a quick attack and steal gold, or you're this necromancer and you can do like spells, and you can only hold one other, but you can like swap as you go. And it is a roguelite, of course.
Of course.
So every time you die, you go back, you can upgrade like your magic ability, your physical, like cooldown, stuff like that. And there's different heroes as you progress through the levels that you'll face. And they're like, it's weird because their dialogue is what you would normally be if you were playing the game. Like most games, like stop, demon, you can't pass. Like it's like, but they're saying it to you now, and you're the bad guy.
Yeah.
So it's fun. I'm enjoying it. It comes out of early access on Thursday, the 21st.
Man, it looks really good. Like it's got a really nice art style to it. I like it.
Yeah, it comes out.
Hopefully it comes to Switch.
Consoles. It's on PC only right now.
Yeah.
So, man, that's about it for games. We got some news though this week. It's been slow with the holidays, but we did get some. There's a top secret, super secret, double secret Sony San Diego studio. It was formed by the former head of Worldwide, or the senior director of visual arts at PlayStation Worldwide. And they'll be working on, what was the quote, Michaela?
Existing Sony IPs. So a lot of people are like, Uncharted?
Siphon.
I wonder if it's something like how Motion Twin with Dead Cells passed off the DLC. So like, hey, Sony, secret Sony San Diego, do an Uncharted thing, or like stuff
People
like
say Jack 4, maybe.
Yeah, like
yeah.
I don't see
something like a dormant IP. I would
dormant,
hope.
not obviously
I
not.
wouldn't call Uncharted dormant. It's been 5 years, but
Yeah, I could see more like Jack or
It
like
has been
older
5
ones.
years.
Not like I'm sure Days Gone 2 if they do something.
that's gonna know.
And Horizon obviously still Gorilla, but Jack, what other, like maybe Siphon Filter.
I'd love to see him bring back Siphon Filter. I mean, that would be awesome. Or the
Sly
Soap
Cooper.
series.
Sly Cooper.
Sly Cooper would be nice. Because that's wasn't that Insomniac?
Yep.
Yeah.
So they own that now because they own Insomniac.
No, Sly Cooper is Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
Oh, Sucker Punch. My bad. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, Insomniac is Ratchet.
That's
Too many
right.
mascots. Sony had too many mascots.
Well, they were trying to like get a mascot, and like Nintendo lucked out and just picked one and ran with it. And same with Microsoft. They
I
lucked
mean, they had
out.
Crash. Crash kind of won the mascot war for Sony a little bit, I would say.
Yeah, but then the problem was like they didn't own that, and that was the thing. Like now Crash is on like everything, and so it's like you guys really
Could
fucked
be a
up.
Spyro revival in there too. I know that's
Yeah.
also Activision business up in there and all that crap and multi-part. Who knows? Who knows what deals have been made?
But as far as mascots, I think Nintendo and Sega were the only ones who really nailed it. The rest have changed. So
Yeah.
Sega's always been Sonic.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, well,
but-
Xbox Master Chief is,
Yeah, but then.
But he's not mascotty. He's emblematic for the brand. But
yeah,
when we
that's
think
true.
mascot, we're thinking like a cartoon character.
That's true. I mean, that's a good point. It's a very good point.
But yeah, Master Chief is the one that comes to mind for them. I mean, well, they've got Banjo.
Yeah, but Banjo didn't start there.
No, it didn't start there, but they got him now.
I do want to say real quick, talking about mascots, that Super Mario game looks freaking awesome. They did do like a announcement on Bowser's Fury, and I'm like, I might actually have to pick this up. But anyways, continuing.
And actually, they added Cat Mario to the load screen.
Yeah, the e-store. Yeah.
All I keep seeing are the big Pokemon memes of like, what do you call those when they're like the Gigantamax battles of Cat Mario versus Bowser?
People were like making fun of the art style of Bowser. They were like, "What is this, Calamity Bowser?"
I saw one meme, it was Dark Souls Mario.
Yeah.
But the Pedestrian finally got a release date, January 29th. This is the game announced at, I think it was the State of Play or the PS5 reveal. This is the one where it's a puzzle platformer where you exist in like signs, street signs, office building signs, and you like move between it. It looks pretty cool. I'm not usually one for a puzzle game. Like, I didn't see the puzzle aspect. It was really just the trailer just kind of was the traversal between them. So we'll have to see. We got Bloodborne news, but it wasn't a sequel. It's a demake.
Yeah. I'd play the hell out of it, man.
It is getting it's 5 years old.
Yep.
It's getting a PSX version. They've been working on it since 2017.
Wow.
Yeah. Apparently it's going to happen. I don't know how. We were talking about it earlier, like, are they going to allow it? But
yeah,
Sony's too busy suing people for making PS5 faceplates that they don't have time for the Bloodborne remake.
Fucking idiots. Just, what does it matter? Just let people make faceplates. They're buying your system. What does it matter?
Speaking of Souls-like, Neo 2 DLC armor in celebration of the release of the whatever edition.
Movie theater butter.
The like enhanced super smooth butter edition.
I think it's 2 free armor sets are available to all Neo 2 players.
It's for the Julia Child butter edition.
Julia Child butter edition. Kelly makes fun of me now because like I watch this chef on YouTube and he likes when he cooks, like he cooks with butter, but he puts olive oil in with it too, so that the olive oil keeps the butter from burning. And I'm just like, I never thought of that before, and now I do it all the time. Now I'm just like, here's like a tablespoon of butter. Here's a little olive oil. Comes out a lot better, but yeah,
What'd
buttery
you
smooth is
What'd
delicious.
you do during the pandemic? I learned new cooking techniques.
I learned how to make myself fatter. I was already doing a good job, so learning new ways. But
Self-improvement.
Well, this was cool news. Tales from the Borderlands got PS5 and Series X certifications.
huh.
So, but I wonder who's doing it because
Were they well they're still there. They reformed that team, didn't they?
right.
Telltale still
Yeah,
exists.
Telltale. I couldn't think of the.
There's a new name in there. I forget what it is.
No, I could have swore it was exactly the same.
It's still Telltale.
To the Googles, but
We have Star Wars news. EA will still be making Star Wars games, which I know people frown upon EA, but Fallen Order was fantastic. Squadrons was well received. Ubisoft Massive is working on an open world. For those that don't know, Ubisoft Massive makes Moose, The Division. So we're going.
Sorry, I was reading the article about Telltale.
All right. I figured you when you were looking at me, but not looking at me.
Right.
So we're getting a Division-esque style open world Star Wars game.
This is going to be interesting. So, in my opinion, Division 2, Massive Games has like one of the best third-person shooters. Ubisoft does just in general, because Wildlands is really good, and I think Breakpoint is really good. But Division 2 is the best cover-to-cover third-person shooter. So I could see like them handling the shooting aspects of the game really well. But I'd like to see like what else they would have. Like, are they going to have like people that could like wield lightsabers? You know what I mean? Can you be a can you be a Jedi or a Sith? You know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting to see how they play each of those
Yeah, I'm curious.
play styles, or
I'm not well versed in the Star Wars universe. Like, I feel like if you can be a Jedi, like it kind of can you do like a Division type?
I don't know. I feel like they could work in. So I have a feeling it's going to be very similar to. They're going to work in a lot of the mechanics of Division 2, where it's like a leveling system. You're going to have like skills that you can use. You can, loadouts. You can spec yourself a certain way. Breakpoint, like we were saying, has the classes, but you're not locked into a class. You can switch on the fly. I think this is going to be very similar to that, where like you could be like, I want to be a crowd control, or no, I'm a DPS Jedi, or you know what I mean? So a tank, dude just running around, and all their talents are just basically like deflection, you know what I mean? Or like certain moves that they could use. So it'll be interesting.
I could see it like what was the MMO? Knights of the Old Republic?
Knights of the Republic or Old Republic.
Right, like I played a couple hours of that. You had different classes, and they weren't all just Jedi and Sith Lords.
Yeah,
So I could see something like that, and I think as long as they keep it grounded, so to speak, like don't have heroes. Like
yeah. See, I think that's
if you don't have like the heroes, then it makes it a little more like so nobody like obviously it's like when you play Battlefront and you get the loot token, like oh shit, he's gonna get 50 kills now. As long as you don't have that, it's not like oh this is not fair. Like he's level 300 and he has loot, he just steamrolls it. Like that's boring.
I'd like to see it. I agree with you. Be grounded and be like maybe they could lend it more to like you're a Jedi training. You know what I mean? Instead of being like end game, because like I feel if you're going to include all these different classes and it's going to be kind of like an online open world game like Division 2, like obviously you're going to have to balance the game.
Right.
Like not only does it need to be grounded, it needs to be balanced. You don't want people just picking the Jedi because like they can just move stuff with their mind and block, like they're impossible to kill. So you kind of want to maybe introduce them at like the early stages of them, learning how to be a Jedi or a Sith Lord or whatever. So I think that's where the balance goes. Because I mean, if it's a game like Fallen Order, where you're just a Jedi, you know what I mean? Like that's where they can be like OP. You know what I mean? And that's not too big of a problem, I don't think. Because you're
Have
not
they
really.
confirmed? I know they said open world. Have they confirmed it's online multiplayer, or are we assuming that because it's massive?
We might be assuming that because it's massive. I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, this news brings about some sad news because a lot of the people I follow about talking about Division 2, and I kind of agree with them, are saying that they need to put Division 2. Well, not they need to. They're going to put Division on the back burner, which they should. They have one more game in the franchise under the contract. There was a 3-game contract. And so Massive is not only working on this, the Star Wars game, they're working on the Avatar game, which I could give two F's about. Like, you took too long to make your movies, Cameron, so who cares? But so it's going to be interesting to see what they do. A lot of people are talking about Red Storm coming in and taking over Division, which would be good because a lot of the initial improvements to Division 1 that the fans loved were done by Red Storm. And so I feel like Siege, which I think Red Storm did, but I feel like Siege just is going to be a continuously ongoing game. You know what I mean? Like, it's been how long since that came out? That came out in like 2014, 6-7 years. 2015, I think it came out. Maybe 2015.
2015.
Yeah.
2015. So that's like 6 years this year. It's still going. I think it's getting a PS5 and an Xbox Series X
for sure.
Patch. Not patch, but you know what I mean, upgrade.
Upgrade.
So, and like it's got the play style. It doesn't need newer graphics. So I could see them moving the team over to finish up the Division 3 game, whatever it's going to be, or just like a lot of people suggest they should do is just put it on the back burner for a while until they really figure out what they want to do with the series, because they sometimes don't want to listen to fans and they just keep doing stuff that mess things up. And it's like, so I'm kind of almost, if Massive moves away from the Division and someone else takes it over, I'd probably be kind of happy about it, so.
Ubisoft had to learn its lessons lately about resting their IPs and everything that's happened with Assassin's Creed. To them, resting their IP with Assassin's Creed is missing 1 year of release.
Yeah,
so,
it needs to be like 2 or 3.
There needs to be 2 or 3. Division was, 3 years? 2017 and 2020?
Yeah.
So that was a good period for them. And then
last year, came out the year before.
No. It was 2016 and 2019.
Yeah, it was 3 years. I knew it was 3 years. I don't even know what year it is anymore. I keep thinking it's 2020 still.
It's 2021.
Yep.
It's December.
It's still horrible.
It's December 45th.
Pretty much.
2020.
Seriously.
And then of course Ubisoft has one IP that they've rested too long because they announced a new game and then it fell into the black void with Bayonetta 3 and Metroid Prime 4 and Biomutant Beyond Good and Evil 2.
I was just gonna say, you talking about
it's in the void.
Dude, I just, this is why I hate when like developers like say they're working on a game and then like, actually I guess I hate the fans because the fans are just like, I want more, I want it now,
Problem is leaks too. Like, work on it, but you can say work on it and don't announce it till you're ready, but then it gets leaked and shit and then it ruins it.
It's like, just let them work on the game. Look at Cyberpunk. Shut the hell up. Just let people make their games and polish them.
Speaking of Cyberpunk, Cyberpunk laid out their roadmap to the future of Cyberpunk, and this roadmap is about as clear as mine and Moose's roadmap to our backlog completion.
Sounds about right.
Oh, Cyberpunk. Now, I've talked to people who have actually played and beat it on PC and even PS4, and actually have had no issues. And they've said the game, it's a good game. They were lucky enough to have minimal bugs, but it definitely could have used a lot more time. It's like, some people like a little batter in their pancakes, but then some people hate when there's too much batter. It's like you got to go with more people like that. It wasn't finished. Like
Yeah,
it's a finished game, but like,
but it still
I-
needed polish and AI.
And
I think the problem is beyond the bugs. Obviously, are inexcusable for okay. I also real quick mini rant. I hate that they keep calling them old gen consoles because Cyberpunk was announced when
was one
maybe
even out.
before they were even out,
Yeah.
and they were like originally the release date was supposed to be like a year. It was supposed to be
Last year.
April, almost like a year before these new gen like these were supposed like Cyberpunk was supposed to be a current gen game, so stop calling them old gen and saying they shouldn't work on there anyways. But the bigger problem is the bugs are overshadowing the fact that there's so much cut content in the game. Like they originally were supposed to be third person. They cut that. Originally you were supposed to be able to do these things like climbing on the walls with your blades and all this stuff that they showed in trailers. Cut that. Because they simply didn't have time to develop it. So the bugs, very bad. The cut content,
even better.
It's just depressing because like you can see what they wanted it to be, the creative minds behind the game, what they wanted to achieve, and then you can see how the business continuously restricted them. And so when I was watching, I want to say it's Adam Badowski. Do I have that name right for one of the studio heads? And he put out his video this week explaining his like trying to own up to what happened, talking about defending his side of things, where it's like we're very proud of the product that we've put out on PC. We understand that the old gen, and he keeps calling it that, consoles were not in a place where we wanted them to be. He's been vocally upset with Sony about removing the property from the store and the refunds he hasn't been super happy about. Jason Schreier put out his article where he interviewed people talking about like, oh, they said this game was going to be ready by this year, and everybody was laughing because they thought it was a joke because they thought it needed 2 more years, and they spent all this time developing the E3 demo that should have been going to the game, and then a lot of that stuff got cut. And that demo, some people are calling it a fake demo. Badowski didn't like that at all. He got really mad about that because he replied in like he sent like a note screenshot. You know how you can like write longer than a tweet and you can screenshot it on your phone. Answering certain quotes from the Jason Schreier article where he was a bit combative about that. Understandably so. He has a business.
Schreier could be a bit of a clown. Like
he can be, but I think
Project Red is a
main
huge
point,
studio, and you interviewed 20 people. Like he kind of ate it when he did the whole thing about the profit sharing for Gearbox, and then they basically proved him wrong. Like that aside,
oh, he's not perfect at all.
Good on Sony for removing it. I mean, you didn't want to deal with this. First off, that's CD Projekt Red's fault because you promised refunds over stores you have no.
Yes.
It's one thing if you said, fine, go to GameStop, bring your physical. We've contacted GameStop. This is a physical thing. They could send it back. This is digital content. You have no, as far as I know, they have no control over once it's sold. And Sony's got to deal with, but then because gamers are stupid, people were complaining that they got a refund and they couldn't play the game anymore. It's like, no, you returned it.
You dumbass.
But then
no, gamers are just dumb.
The problem with this was there's way too much misinformation. There was this article from that 74% of Steam players have left Cyberpunk after 1 month.
They're waiting for fixes. Yeah.
But that's also horseshit because could both of you beat a 35-hour game in a month?
Yeah.
If it's a single player game.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Of course you left it. You're done with it.
Yeah.
There's plenty of people out there who aren't achievement hunters or trophy hunters. You finish that game.
Yeah.
Why would you go back to a non-multiplayer game that you have no interest in getting all the achievements? I feel that's.
Or there's people waiting for fixes. There's a lot of reasons why that number is. It's not like the Avengers, which I think is what they were going for.
Right. I think there's a lot of. I think the most damaging comes from CD Projekt Red itself.
Yeah, their marketing, they over-marketed, they
Oh, they're different.
over-promised. The review
they
situation was
really underdid it.
asinine, where they wouldn't show console footage, but they sold a console product. Their marketing strategy, and that's where a lot of the over-promising come from, the deadlines, the depth of content that they like, follow this character around through their daily life thing. That all came from the marketing team being completely out of touch with the development team and the realities that they were facing.
I feel like because the game was intended for PS4, Xbox One X. When they got the release dates and the dev kits, they probably rushed it because they'd want people to play it on those systems, which is understandable. But like, if the game ran, I'm using perfectly, but I mean, I've had Horizon Zero Dawn crash on me. Nothing's perfect. If it ran though, you'd get a lot of people who, okay, fine, we can't play it on next gen. We'll wait. But like, it didn't run for a lot of people on the last gen, the current, like the crossover. It was just who knows? It could have been Sony and Microsoft's fault for not giving us any information. Maybe they didn't give studios any info of dev kits and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's just a crappy situation.
With bad PR, which makes it worse. Because then
honestly,
it keeps going.
I think the Keanu thing hurt them in a way. It was too much.
Again, that's marketing. That's overhyping their shit.
Let's be real. Cyberpunk was going to sell like gangbusters without Keanu Reeves.
Yep.
Look at this.
Because of The Witcher 3.
The Witcher 3, like, I think that it hurt them in a way. I mean,
it hurt them in two ways, actually. It hurt them in crowd expectations from the players, and also, again, going back to the Jason Schreier article, it hurt them in the Anthem way. It's like the magic perception. We made The Witcher 3, things will be fine. Although then a lot of people are like, well, remember Witcher 3? It launched like shit too and had a lot of issues, although not on the level of Cyberpunk 2077. I think as a studio, being a smaller studio, because like this is not a Rockstar Games size studio,
right.
Yeah. This is a, what would you call it, AA maybe studio making AAA games over here in terms of the size and scope and management that they have. They should probably, going forward, knowing who they are and what their comfort zone is, release on PC first and then focus on the consoles.
Yeah.
One thing at a time.
Yeah, it's just
that's because they only had time to make the PC version. That's what they're comfortable with. Like, so you know how different developers, they'll develop for one platform first and then convert it for another one. That's how they should do it. They're a PC company.
It is unfortunate they're being compared to Anthem, because I'd say 6 months from now when they re-release Cyberpunk, at least it's a game. Anthem's kind of empty. Cyberpunk needs to fix bugs. The content's there. So
I've seen it compared to the Anthem mentality in terms of the game itself. People are like, well, there's No Man's Sky, there's FF14, there are redemption stories, but those are different. Those are open-ended. Those are not single-player RPG story-capped games. Those are an MMO, and then whatever No Man's Sky is. I don't know what genre that falls in.
Right, and No Man's Sky can just keep tacking on to the end. Cyberpunk, like, you have a beginning and an end.
Yeah, and they said there would. Are they still planning on a multiplayer mode?
Supposedly free DLC.
Supposedly, but by the end of this story, when they're done fixing the base game, are they going to go for the multiplayer still? That's my question.
You know who was like, hold my beer for CD Projekt Red? The New York Times. If you haven't heard and you listen to this show, you probably shouldn't anymore, because the video games are bad for you, especially during a pandemic. Dude, they're raising money for the kid featured in the picture. Like, there's a picture of a kid playing and his two parents are
playing a PlayStation 1.
And the father just quoted, said, "I have failed my son." The guy who launched Xbox. I'm drawing a blank. It was two guys. And I can't think of his name. He's the one who's like putting together, like they're donating. They want to like raise funds for him. Like it's just this article. It's the age old argument that holds no weight, no water, that video games are bad
for kids specifically, especially because the article focuses on kids playing too many video games during the pandemic. I believe. I don't think it really gets to the adult portion.
Well,
it's like, and adults are playing too.
What are you gonna do when you're married and you had a rough day? You're gonna tell your wife, "I need to go play with my buddies." Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I don't remember if I said it on this show or somewhere else recently. I'm like, somebody's like, "Oh, what are your weekend plans?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna binge a show on Netflix." They're like, "Oh, that's awesome. That sounds like a great weekend." And then somebody says, "What are your plans for this weekend?" "Oh, I gotta hook up with some buddies. We're gonna tackle some dailies, and I'm gonna bang out the end of this story I'm finishing in this RPG that I'm loving so much." And it's like, "Oh, you're playing video games? There's guns, there's video games involved." It's like, yeah, sorry, I'm mentally engaging and mechanically engaging with the content instead of staring at a screen until I drool my brain into my lap with all the Cheetos I'm eating. Like, what the?
Oh no, it irks me too. Like people want to sit there and like throw shade at gamers, and it's like I like hand-eye coordination, problem-solving skills. You know what I mean? Like the stories in video games.
I binged the whole Office series over the weekend. Oh, that's awesome. I played video games for 6 hours. You did what?
Right. Exactly. And it's like, get the hell out of here. Like, I'd rather spend my time playing and being involved in my stories than like watching movies. Like I watched, what was it, Saturday night or something? I just threw something on and was just like I didn't really feel like playing something. I'm like, this is a first in a long time where I have like not played video games on a Saturday night. I was like, I'm just gonna watch some Netflix. But yeah, I hate the stigma. I
hate that the stigma is a front page New York Times story. Also, we got to mention that it is a headliner for the New York Times when everything else is happening in this country politically, economically.
Especially what happens in 2 days.
Our president, who has been impeached twice, is supposed to peacefully hand over the presidency to the incumbent when, the Capitol's been invaded not 2 weeks ago and people were rioting again for the second time in the past year. Let's talk about how video games that are keeping kids socially distant but still connected with their friends and mentally engaged with their content are bad. That's the focus here. Let's make America great right there.
Well, we can end on a high note. Man-Eater, which is currently free on PS Plus, is getting DLC. It's coming soon. We will be playing. Well, we all got it for free. We will be playing it, but not as.
Correction, it's only free on PS5.
Oh, okay.
With Plus, it's not free on PS4. Just so everybody knows.
PS4 only got Shadow of the Tomb Raider and Greedfall,
Yes,
those
correct.
rinky-dink games.
I'm not saying those are rinky-dink games.
I know, I'm being sarcastic.
I know.
I reviewed both of them.
Can you redeem it, Moose? Oh, you have it.
I already have it.
But I wonder if you can redeem it, because, I mean, back in the day before I had a PS4, I could redeem all those games.
Oh, no, I've done it with Bugsnax. I just have to go to the PSN.
Okay.
I have to go to the browser to do it. If I go to do that now, I don't even think I own it. So it's just, and I own the digital version. So it would just be like, you already own it. You know what I mean? So like there were some games that I have physical that came out free digitally. And so it was just like, oh, well, I'll pick it up digitally. You know what I mean? Just in case I get rid of the physical version. But anyways, continuing.
And last but not least, our next game club game, which we have voted on, will be Foul Play.
Yay.
Or
benefits me in no way possible.
What do you mean? It's a beat 'em up.
Exactly. I was being sarcastic again.
Oh. I think it has, does it have online co-op?
I think so.
Because I know there's co-op.
And
I've
it's
played a
short
bit
enough
of it.
that you should be able to what I would like to do is play it as a single player and then play it as a co-op so you get both experiences.
We could do that.
Because I looked up on how long to beat and it said like 4.5 hours.
Yeah, I think there's only 5 chapters.
Acts. It's a theater production.
Sorry, Acts, ladies and gentlemen.
How dare you, Moose?
No, I'm terrible. I'm a terrible human being. But
Word it up, Mr. Monopoly's gonna be coming for you.
But yeah, I think it's an interesting game. I'm enjoying it so far.
All right. Well, I think that does it for this week. Moose?
Bye.
Story Route Zero, we have some cool friends who do some cool things, and I'd like to tell you about them. Phoenix Overdrive uses the power of games and gamers to help heal sick kids through the charity Extra Life. Phoenix Overdrive fundraises for Children's Miracle Network hospitals all year, every year, and the fund culminates in a 24-hour gaming marathon. Find out more about their events and projects online via Facebook at facebook.com/Phoenix Overdrive or on Twitter and Instagram at PHX_Overdrive. You can also join the Facebook group of Pawn Stars at facebook.com/groups/PO Nation in order to share and discuss all the latest in nerd culture. They've also got a podcast, Nerd Overdrive, which you can see weekly at youtube.com/Phoenix Overdrive. You can also catch it on Facebook Live or twitch.tv/PHX_Overdrive. That podcast is also published on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Stitcher. You want merch? They got merch. Merch can be ordered from tinyurl.com/PHXOD-merch, a portion of which goes to their fundraising efforts. Join the nation and be a hero to sick kids, as El Capitan Ray Osorio, Lee the Maestro, and Becky, the lovely queen of the guild, always say, #Rise Above. Thank you for listening to Story Route Zero. We hope you have enjoyed your time here as much as we've enjoyed having you. Once again, questions, concerns, complaints, pictures of pets, or favorite recipes can be sent to storyroute0@gmail.com. You can yell at us on Twitter at StoryRoute0. Rate us and review us on iTunes, YouTube, or wherever you may have found us, as it helps with discoverability. If you'd like to hit us up individually, you can find Moose Cool at Sven, that's SVHENN on Twitter, PSN, Instagram, and of course Twitch, streaming games. You can find Jason Marshall writing at obelisk.co. You can also find him on Twitter at GimpyJ with 2 Y's at the end, as well as PSN, Instagram, and Twitch. He also has his own website, whereisthepausebutton.com. You can find Michaela Crescione doing all sorts of writing at obelisk.co, as well as on Twitter at RedXMaud. My name is Matthew Keel. You can find me everywhere I'd like to be at infinite_rewind. That's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's Twitch, that's PSN, and I also have my own website, infiniterewind.com. Be sure to check us out at all the places. You are always welcome, and you will always have a seat waiting for you on this ride. Thank you for listening, but for now, it's back to the real world for us. So we will see you on the next one.